Welcome to the Scribble of the Incas. I want you to say that I'm a writing champion, not me, you. Say, I'm a writing champion.
I'm a writing champion.
Yes. Say, I'm a writing champion. Yes. Say, I'm a writing champion.
I'm a writing champion.
Yeah, that's what we do here. We make writing champions. I was thinking about NAPLAN this week and thinking how tough a task it is. Who did it? All right. 7s and 9s did the message, a narrative. 3s and 5s did the gate, narrative. So it's the toughest task, in my opinion, that you will do in all of your high school and primary school years. To come up with a narrative with 5 minutes planning and then 35 minutes writing, 300, 400 words, is extremely difficult, and most teachers could not do it. Okay, that's a fact. So who can do it? I'll tell you who can do it. I think of a couple of students that I've tutored over 4 years, right? 4 years. They could produce a 300-word story using a whole bunch of techniques that would score top marks in NAPLAN. Why? Are they more gifted? No. They came as Year 4 B students, right? They were B. There's people in this room who are better than them than what they were. But for 4 years, they've been working on the techniques, week after week after week, just like you're doing. And what happened was, they didn't become geniuses. The skills got locked in the caudate nucleus, right? Just like playing the piano, just like violin, just like playing soccer or netball or tennis or swimming, the skills got transferred from one part of the brain to up here. So now, on demand, they can just do scribble technique. While they're writing, they can think, I'm going to do a where start now. I'm going to do a when start now. I won't use too many was, wers, is, ahs, has, had, be, and get, got, getting, gotten. They just automatically can use the techniques because it's come from that weekly practice over 4 years. That's what it takes. You can't become a top soccer player in a week. It just doesn't happen. You can't do it in a term. You can't do it in 3 terms. You're not going to be playing in front of 5,000 people on the piano in a year. It just won't happen. But the exciting thing is, it will happen because of where you're sitting right now on a Saturday morning. This commitment you've made, this sacrifice you're making, because let's face it, there are other places we could be on a Saturday morning, or if you're watching at home, there are other places you could be than watching this video right now. But the fact you're here and helping cement the skills is going to put you in the same place as those 2 other boys, the ones who can just write like authors in 30 minutes. Their NAPLAN can be astounding anytime they want to write. That's what you're doing. We are committing the skills to memory. Mr. C, can I do it faster? Yeah, you can. Do 15 minutes every night. Every night at home. Do more, do more, do more. But do we think to do it? No. Are we too busy? Perhaps. Do we want to do it? Not when there's cartoons, you see. So I want to give a shout out and raise the roof to your parents who bring you here, because they know what's going to happen to your brains. I know what's going to happen. I've been doing this thing for 30 years. I know what's going to happen to your brains. It's the practice, the practice, the practice, the practice. If we did one term, a whole term of quadruple verbs, it would be stuck in. Why don't we? Because I think we'd get parent complaints. Oh, they're only learning one thing at Scribbling, quadruple verb. But you know what? It would be good because it would sink it in. Then we move on to the next technique, the next technique, the next technique. But we don't. We spread it all out and it takes a long time to sink them in. Okay? That's what's happening in your brains. You can't see it, but it is happening in your brains. Slowly, one by one, you will start noticing, oh, I'm using was's a lot in my writing. I better change that. Oh, I just saw a got. The teacher used a got on the blackboard. It will start happening. Has anyone noticed anything yet with what's happening at school in your own writing or your teacher's writing or your friend's writing? You will notice, yes, I see hands going up. You will notice. I notice it a lot. We've just had my grade 7s submit their essays, their narratives, right? They had 3 lessons to do it. And the ones who followed the techniques, awesome. Ranging from A+ to A-. The kids who didn't follow what I said are in the B and C range. They're capable, but they just didn't remember to do it, okay? It just wasn't stuck in there. But other kids, they've been doing homework. Speaking of which, these videos are available online for you guys, not just for the ones who are away. You can log on, join our YouTube channel, and watch and do this activity again. And then watch it again and do it again. Not only that, but you can go watch last week's video, and the week before video, and the week before video. How many weeks have we got there, Daniel? It's probably 6, 7, 8 weeks.
Yeah.
We started filming last term, so these videos, they're excellent practice for you. And you guys have access. Go do it. Go fast forward to the bit where, oh, I just want to practice the technique again. And write another example. And then another example. Awesome. All right, what are we doing today? We're looking at our persuasive again. Remember, we've got the triple descriptor, the quadruple verb, the many, most technique. All right, the topic is Clean Up Australia Day. Who's heard of that? There's one day a year where Australians come together and literally go outside and pick up rubbish. You might have it in your schools, you might have it in your suburbs, you definitely have it in your suburbs, our parks, our beaches, our deserts, all over the place. So, can you take out your Intensio Magnifico sheet? We're going to write out an example. High schoolers, you may attempt your own or just copy mine. At home, you can pause right now and have a go, or you can unpause and you can copy my example.
Yeah.
Let's start off with a triple descriptor. This is about Clean Up Australia Day, so I'm going to do a triple descriptor about Australia. Notice up here I said, Australia is an amazing country with its windswept plains, pristine coastlines, menagerie cultures, blah, 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 blah. Well, this is about the environment, so it's slightly different. Copy this. Australia is an incredible country with its beautiful coastlines, rugged mountain ranges, and serene, which means peaceful, deserts. Write that down. Easy to do. If we did this for a whole year, this introduction, we would nail it. But again, we have other things we want to learn. It'd be great if you could practice these at home. Even if you committed that paragraph to memory, then you could adapt it when you need to change it to something else. Notice, we don't talk about Clean Up Australia Day in this introductory sentence. It's a general statement saying that Australia is a beautiful place. And of course, it's leading up to the fact that we're going to talk about cleaning it up. Hands up if you're a person that picks up litter at school even though it's not your own. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, really? Everyone except Brandon. Okay.
No, it's because I'm too lazy.
Oh yeah, that's a valid reason. I understand.
I'm too lazy to put my hand up.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We have pick-up sticks at school. Ready for the next sentence? It's a quadruple verb. Watch what I do to make it fit, and I'll tell you why I did this. However, spoiling, first verb, its wondrous appeal, carelessly discarded litter. Now, I did have, has dotted its landscape, spoiled its appeal, and ruined our resplendent reputation. But in this case, I wanted to remove the has. So by removing the has, instead of ed verbs, I'm just using the present tense. So, however, spoiling its wondrous appeal, carelessly discarded litter dots its landscape, spoils its appeal, and ruins our resplendent reputation. Who sees a technique at the end of that sentence? What's the technique? A what? No, at the end of this sentence, can anyone see it? It's hiding in plain sight. No, it is a quadruple verb, but at the end, it's obvious. Yeah. Yes, alliteration. What is alliteration? I don't even know what that means. What is it? When words start with the same letter or make the same sound. Ruins our resplendent, which means magnificent, reputation. If you're watching this at home, you could probably be pausing and having a go yourself. And then we have one more sentence to do, the many most. It's an easy one. Now, if we're saying we want to support Clean Up Australia Day, then the support is the most part of this next technique. Okay? The non-support is the many part. So let's see what that looks like. Many Australians believe the countryside is tidy and requires no extra effort. In other words, it's okay. Many people think, no worries, we don't need a Clean Up Australia Day. This is all made up, by the way. However, most would like to see a National Day of Cleaning. See? Cleaning, cleaning, two, and this time I've used a colon. I'm letting the reader know, here come my reasons, there's 3 of them. Bring communities together, that's reason 1. Develop a sense of national pride is number 2. And number 3, and spruce up the place, which means clean the place up. Okay, so 3 reasons. And then, in my essay, I will do a paragraph on the communities, I'll do a paragraph on national pride, and I'll do a paragraph on cleaning up the place. Okay, and that makes a brilliant introduction. So copying it out. That's a general statement. That's the problem. Here's the solution, and 3 reasons why. Okay, it's really simple format. The trap with persuasive is that not every topic needs to follow the persuasive genre that you're learning at school. I know that some people went and did some writing for, it was either the State High or the Academy tests this week. What was that topic, Rachel? Do you remember what it was? It was bizarre. I'm not going to remember it. What would you do if, or something like that? I can't remember. Anyway, it didn't follow the persuasive structure. This is why I tell parents, you know, say, please teach persuasive, they're going for a test at blah, blah. It may not be this, okay? There's a third thing called, I call it the discussion. And I've developed a formula for a discussion. It's becoming more and more popular not to make a persuasive argument. This is still there in high school. You will do these, okay, over and over and over. But if you're going for some of those tests, they're moving away from persuasive because they understand kids have just learned a formula and they're all repeating the same boring formula. So they make a discussion like, what's the best age to be? What's the better season, summer or winter? What would you do if you were a soccer ball? It's just, what? How can I do my formula? You can't. You just have to discuss. Because all they want to see is, how do you think? What's your skill in writing? It's why we teach the techniques. The techniques are more important than the structures. Because the techniques go across all subjects, all grades. When you're a grandmother knitting in your chair, right? You're 98 years old, 2 years away from your 100th birthday, you can still do a quadruple verb. I know you'll want to. Or if you're a grandfather, all right. All right, can we move on yet?
Yeah.
People still copying down? Now keep that example. If you want to do some more practice at home, read it and try your own. Test yourself. Can you produce a paragraph using those 3 techniques? Do extra practice at home if you want, if you can, if you have time. It will all help to get the skills up in here a lot quicker. All right, let's move on for now. I can put this back later if you need to copy more, okay? Let's go on to our books. Open up to our small words. This one, the silky black velvet. Is that what we're up to?
Yeah, that's it.
Yay! Now, we need a verb start. We're challenging you now. Small words and a verb start. So, the silky black velvet was comforting. For weeks, his bed was only a potato sack spread across a rough concrete surface. 3 times he had tried to escape, but each time he got caught. Not the last time, though. Now, I don't think anyone this week has realised what I'm doing here. And last term, when we did this exact same passage, I think everyone interpreted it differently to what was in my mind. Let me tell you what's in my mind. It's another technique we use for short stories. It's called the diversion technique. This is actually about a dog. Okay? So I would write an entire short story making you think it's a prisoner, right? And I will give clues all the way throughout about that. The first clue here is that this dog used to sleep on a potato sack. And when you go back and at the end I reveal it's a dog, you go, that's why this prisoner was sleeping on a potato sack. But I didn't reveal that. It's just another technique with short stories. So you pick something, you completely mislead the reader and make them think that it's something else. Okay? And that I'll give you a good example. I remember one student about 2 years ago, he got an A for his story because he wrote about this poor orphan child who got taken away from his family, away from his brothers and sisters, has no parents, born in a factory, shipped to Australia, right? Taken away from his native country and ended up at the doorstep of a family who were happy to receive him. They were happy to adopt him because they had a son, no other children, so they could be best friends, and they were. They immediately took him up to his room and said, we're going to have a great time together, blah, 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 blah. They went to school, and the teacher ended up kicking him out of class because he was too distracting. So he had to sit out on the veranda for the entire morning session. The bell rang, his adopted brother came out, and they went up to the oval to play. And they were picking teams. You know how you pick teams at lunchtime? And he didn't even get picked, right? Not only that, not only did he not get picked, they began being violent against him. They were kicking him, right? And we find out at the end that he was a soccer ball, born in a factory overseas. And all the clues, when you look back at the story, you go, I see, he was a soccer ball all this time, but you made me think he was a kid. Yeah, brilliant story. So that's what's happening here. This is actually a dog, but not that you need to know that. So, we're going to start with the verb start. It's right there. Comforting him. So, let's have a go. You can pause this. You'll need a clue. So check it out. He used to sleep on a potato sack. He's now sleeping on a beautiful silky black piece of velvet, which is really nice and squishily nice. I made that up. So I would put remember the trap? Who remembers the verb trap, which you're all going to fall into? What was the verb trap? I watched it happen all this week. Yeah.
It has to be a noun after.
What comes after this? Yeah. Of? Close. I think we're halfway there. Who remembers? Remember? When you do a verb start, who or what is doing the verb must be next. Who's doing the comforting, or what's doing the comforting? What's comfortable in it? The velvet, right? So comforting him, the silky black velvet. How do we then match it with the weeks his bed was only a potato sack? Got an idea?
Was an improvement from the...
Yes, but you used was.
Was
Yeah.
One over him against
It what? Sorry?
One over him against
One over him. Yeah. How about, I'll give you a big clue. Think of the word replaced. Let's see what we can come up with. Comforting him, the silky black velvet replaced. I think that should be enough to get us going. You can pause and have a go, and we'll have a go. So we're going to look at the techniques once again that are easy to do during a test. In an assignment, and for primary schoolers who don't know what that is, in an assignment you get weeks to write a story. They give you what's called a task sheet. Your teacher will give you a task sheet. You take it home, it tells you all the instructions, what you have to do, how many words to write, and how long you've got to write it. And typically it's 4 or 5 weeks at home. You should be writing brilliant stories for your assignments. But in a test, you guys can't think of everything to do. Okay, not yet. So we simplify it a little bit. Let's have a look. Look at the picture first. Have a think. Now, what we're thinking about in our skills session here, an action sentence with thought and feeling sentences, with atmosphere, what's going on around them, description, pick something in there and describe it, and then story, adding some details. We can think about our quadruple verb, triple descriptor, M dash. They're all in your book. You can look back and have a look. We want to think about where, when, why verb starts. Okay, so while we're doing these, we need to do this. While we're doing that, we want to reduce our small words, make sure we're filling it with adjectives, and remember, one paragraph we're writing has one idea. So we are doing the idea of the man on the bench. What does not happen? Who knows what I'm going to say? What doesn't happen?
An alien invasion.
I definitely, yes, correct. That doesn't happen.
A war medals right in front of him.
A what?
A war.
A war, yeah. There's no war that pops up in front of him.
A T-Rex.
The T-Rex is not coming.
Nuclear bombs coming out.
Correct, it won't. And the helicopters don't arrive, okay, with the ninja grannies. It's the man on the bench, right? The man on the bench. This is the one idea. We don't know why he's there. In my mind, I had him actually as an aged superhero. The days of the superhero are over. He's lamenting he's sad about what his life used to be and what it's not anymore. And I would make it a sad tale about this man. Now, he may not have been a real superhero with actual superpowers, but to his family, he might have been a superhero. Pretty deep, I know, but all we're doing now is describing this scene. We're writing a paragraph with these 5 sentence types about that scene. Please don't bring anyone else yet. Don't bring other things in. See what we can create with just that, okay? This is thinking. Scribble ink is all about thinking. We don't want to rush in and write, a man sat on a bench. He was holding a flower. He looked really sad. There was a foggy air around him. We don't want to do that. We want to create by thinking with this structure here. In whatever order you like, okay? The action is really simple. He sat alone on the bench while clasping a, whatever it is, pink tulip or whatever flower it is. That's the action. But then the next ones are all of these. All right, let's go.